Hi, I'm Andrea Klim, and you are watching Turn to the Stars. And today is December 1st of 2015, and I'm going to be talking about the up-and-coming Sagittarius new moon that is coming. The energy is forming as we get closer to December 11th, and that is going to be exactly at 4:07 a.m. here on the eastern coast. And it's so interesting because the energy is very fiery, very exciting, and very enthusiastic, and really does lend tune for us to really be present yet looking forward in our lives, which is very exciting. That's that fire tone. And it's interesting, this day, December 1st, I actually had to draw up a chart for today because which I'm going to put on the screen, and there it is. And it actually shows, if you look into the center of the chart of today, December 1st, 2015, there's a grand trine and fire showing up. And that's a very exciting unfolding of energy, even though, outside it's pouring down rain. On the inside, we can feel very enthusiastic and very optimistic about this day, because what it is exemplifying, really, these planets, if you look over to the right, you see some shaded areas like around 2 o'clock. The planet Uranus is in the constellation of Aries, a fire sign. It is retrograde, so it's still, raising our awareness inwardly to these particular elements of ourself. Yet it lends this open hand to the moon in Leo, and the moon in Leo, the moon emphasizes or brings to light our feelings, our emotions, which is very childlike. It's so interesting that that energy there. Here I'm driving here to do the show today, and I hear on the radio there's a conversation going on about children and about parents and the parenting skills. And so the moon in Leo is really puts a big emphasis on fun and excitement and games and also the children of the world. That they are the ones that we are always doing our best to help mold to be better little humans, as we are constantly striving for that ourselves. And if I could put that chart back on the screen one more time, if you look at that moon over on the left, which is probably about 10 o'clock if you looked on a clock on the wall, you'll see blue lines shooting down to the bottom of the chart, which is highlighted in yellow, and that's to the planet Saturn, luminary, the sun in Sagittarius, and Mercury. So there's what we call kind of looks like a pyramid, or I call it a grand trine and fire, or I also would call it, from a book that I'm in the midst of writing, the gem souls. This could be called what I would call a ruby soul, or a creative soul, one that is alive with life. And so it really inspires progress, insight, truth. It inspires us to reach out to achieve our goals. It inspires self-realization, self-importance. And it's funny, how we say rainbows. We see rainbows when we have a rainstorm and then the sun comes out in the summer. We see a rainbow, but I would say that this is a sunbow. And it does inspire wishes to be realized, emotional strength. There's a sense of regalness about this energy today, and it does inspire special memories to be created. And I want to talk a little bit about, it's interesting because with all this energy that each and every one of us is experiencing in our lives over the course of the last couple years, there's been a lot just presently past reflections, and every morning I seem to be waking up with a new song in my head. And this morning it was the song by Rod Stewart, Forever Young, and in the beginning of the song he says, may the good Lord be with you down every road you roam. And what he's really singing in the song is to a child. He's singing to his child, and so I wanted to bring up this there's this sort of musical rendition that the more you're connected to your super consciousness or the consciousness of the world that surrounds us, the more that you are in the light of what the future and the past memories support as we move forward. And so I want to talk a little bit now about this new moon that's coming up. Today's December 1st. So by December 11th, we're going to have a new moon. So we're finishing out a cycle right now. And as we head toward this new moon on December 11th, which in fact is my brother's birthday. So I have to say hi to him. He's a Sagittarian and he's always traveling the world. Not sure what part of the country or world he's in right now, but I'm going to have to say an early happy birthday to him. But this new moon, I'm going to put a picture of it on the screen of the chart. There it is, highlighted on the bottom at 19 degrees in the constellation of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a mutable sign. So it means that, there is a lot of liquid fluidness, meaning mutability, a lot of movement in the world going on right now. And actually the sign of Sagittarius is one that is, of fire, and there's a sense of courage. There's a sense of research, belief systems. There's a sense that comes to us of, what our religious or spiritual beliefs are, and also shows for many of us, the things that we want to learn that we don't know about. We're looking forward to understand something new. That's the excitement that the Sagittarius energy brings. But, with this new moon, as the date of December 11 approaches, there's a time with this new moon that is brought forth of looking inside ourselves. It's really important that we look inside ourselves and then beyond ourselves. This new moon, as I said before, does occur in the adventurous constellation of Sagittarius at 19 degrees, and it is one that brings moments to us to expand our mind. It does summon our inner vision, our inner eye, our inner sight, our inner guide toward searching to look at new areas, new lands, new horizons, new forms, new awareness through a lens of hope, not a lens of doubt, but a lens of hope. And as you know from my past shows, new moons are cosmic doorways. I've described this before. They're cosmic doorways to fresh new roads and avenues which open in our lives. And you can see behind me, as I talk about this, the picture behind me is actually the ceiling of a shop in Foxwoods, where I was this past weekend visiting a friend and her family for Thanksgiving, and it was this beautiful chandelier, and I know you can't really see it, but kind of looks like the on this side of me, the circular motion kind of looks like what we would see at the front of the cosmos. And actually all the constellations, all the animals, and all the forms and figures that were representative of each one of the constellations was in a circle on the wall above the chandelier, and I just thought it was spectacular. So, I mean, it's beautiful, but it allows us, a picture like this, to look beyond and to look forward and to see the beauty that's ahead of us, but also to remember the past things that supported us as we were on this journey. And that allows us to shed old skin and break ground for new patterns and cycles to begin. So the start of this new moon, as we get close to the 11th of December, where actually the week before does begin the unfolding of this energy, because things are really speeded up a lot faster in our world as we know it. Things are not so often are not what they appear to be. And one of the things that I want to convey to you in today's show is that there are what I call sleeper cells inside of each and every one of us. And these are cells of talent. These are cells that carry memories of times of lives lived before. And these cells are not always ones that were programmed for negativity. They're also cells that we carry that are programmed for positivity or enthusiasm. So as we look to this new moon, it is truly waking up cells within us and saying there's new markers, look ahead, look at the road ahead. And it's an ideal time to pursue a spiritual, an emotional, a mindful, and physical reboot. It's interesting, this past weekend I was invited to join a call with a very special lady who is alive on this earth right now, and her name is Saima. And she has a prayer that she says, and she says Om JJ Saima, and it means I honor the divine feminine within you. And she said that the planet is awakening, that we are awakening, and we are each making a huge transition. What she does is she combines the wisdom of the East and the West. She has the gift of being able to speak in a way that no matter of what culture or belief system you are, you will understand. And she's able to combine traditions and blend them. And what she is really is an energetic master. And as I speak to you about sleeper cells, I believe that there's many people like her who are awakening to their true selves, who they truly are. And this new moon that we have right now is one that is actually parallel with the world time calendar, the historical calendar, with a date of October of 1652. Now, if you think about the experiences that we are having on Earth at this present time, and what I'm going to give you this information right now about a time back in October of 1652, you will realize that these times are actually parallel. We're actually paralleling a time historically that is being brought to our minds, being brought to us, our subconscious. And so I'm going to tell you some events that occurred in October of 1652. October 8th, the First Anglo-Dutch War, the Battle of the Kentish Knock. The battle is fought near the Shaw, called the Kentish Knock in the North Sea, about 30 kilometers from the mouth of the River Thames. And on October 13th, this is an interesting historical parallel, the Prince Condé flees to Paris from his homeland. And on the 21st, King Louis the 16th returns to Paris. So these are major historical events. And we see this type of roaming, this type of movement. We see this type of chaos to some degree, and to many degrees, and upheaval historically in our time as we live right now. So I wanted to sort of set that parallel because astrologically, there are cycles that do repeat, but these cycles that do repeat, or these sleeper cells, do remind us of the wisdom we carry from the past that should be and can be helpful toward our future path. So this new moon that is coming December 11th opens a doorway that invites us to travel, to search, to research. These are all aspects of the Sagittarius archetype, to head out and set its restless eye on the next exciting destination. It's funny is this Sagittarius energy is very fiery, intrepid and fearless. Sagittarius energy craves the state of happiness they find in wide open spaces where they can roam, either literally or other similar movements. So if you are one of the other mutable signs, which is Gemini, which is Pisces or Virgo, if you have any of these zodiac signs or planets in your birth chart in these signs, you are going to feel the liquefying effects, meaning the movement, the change, the maybe even confusion, that maybe you're kind of flip-flopping back and forth with indecision, because of the awakening that this energy is bringing into your life. The picture that this new moon paints is one of an arrow pointing up to the sky as it lifts up across. That's the symbol of Sagittarius. You see, it looks like an arrow, but there's a cross. So there's a cross with an arrow on the end. It's a symbol of the superconsciousness sending the spirit to the matter at hand. Meaning, whatever your matter at hand may be, your spiritual guidance will send understanding to it. So this new moon sends us on a search of a perfect integration of worldly actions with a sense of nobility. Sagittarius is represented by the centaur of the zodiac, meaning half man, half horse. And the mythological centaur within each of us comes alive while galloping toward a higher vision, an aspiration, leaving behind the gray walls of human existence while still keeping sight of the big picture. Whenever I think of Sagittarius energy, I think of someone who's always on the search for something new, never happy with the boots they're wearing. Let's try on that next set of boots or that next set of shoes, and let's see where they take us. So all the while, this Sagittarius energy, though, does have a tendency to keep its fiery arrows aimed at its goals. I remember a long time ago talking about people who like to hunt. They seem to have this sense, this Sagittarius sense of where to aim their arrow to hit their target. And that is very true with this new moon. And there's this connection with our super consciousness that is being delineated. And our higher mind and our inner explorer is something that needs to be restored at this time, so that the seeds of the intentions we realize, so that we can realize those intentions that are under this bold and daring new moon. And it is sort of, in realizing these intentions, there's this sort of heartwarming effect that is taking place and giving meaning to our life. So there's no accident that this sign rules both the search for truth and open-handed optimism. This new moon is almost like a reaching hand lifting us from the bottomless depths of this past Scorpio season, and it's asking us to envision a future that really fills us with enthusiasm, that still allows us to grow into the best and the bravest, the best, the most optimistic, the most straightforward people that we can be. Whether we celebrate this new moon taking a walk in the forest, because Sagittarius does love nature and the outdoors as it absorbs the wisdom of nature, sending our wishes to the cosmos. Sagittarius is a zodiac sign that's ruled by the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter being the biggest, the largest, the grandest planet of energy in our solar system. It inspires us to go bigger, to grow bigger, to allow ourselves to look beyond the horizons, and to pray for guidance through meditation or through prayer or through journey work to get in touch with our higher selves. It's important that we renew our faith and our life purpose. And so you might want to think about what that is. A friend of mine said to me the other day, in any relationship, in any thing where people are brought together, there's always an underlying contract. So I ask you to examine, what is your underlying life contract? Do you know what that is? Do you remember what that is? Have you researched that? Are you researching that? It's very important to everyone at this time. We're being asked to move steadily in the direction of our most meaningful life goals so that we can share our happiness and gifts with the world. I think you heard me say this before on a past show. Last summer, when Jupiter moved into the constellation of Leo, I heard this voice tell me that there was an awakening of the keepers of the Holy Grail. And to me, I spent a year realizing what that meant to me, and it truly means to the world is that the people who are here to protect the children, to protect our future generation, to protect the incredible miracle of life. All of these souls are being awakened, and they're, sort of coming out and speaking up for the children of the world, because we have so much that is being overlooked. And the children are so important because they are extremely special, especially the ones that are here right now, that are young, that are below the age of 18, and just learning about who they are and having experiences that can also reshape some of those inner ideals of who they are. So with this new moon, we do see that there is, if I could put that on the screen again, the new moon chart, we see that there's a trine, or a very open type of energy, which I say is like a gift. Between the sun, we see the sun where it's highlighted with this new moon in Sag, and there's this blue line that shoots out through the middle to Uranus. And so what that does is it leaves room, and it grants room within each of us for a sense of confidence in being able to take a risk. This connection from the new moon that you see right there, that's what we call a trine. A trine is a gift or an open door, or it is something that says, you know what, I lend hand to hear what you have to tell me about myself. I'm open to understand and realize what that means to me. And it also says that there is a possibility that is present for each of us to branch out into new ways of thinking and to take on some new ways of thinking. It's important that we gather up the courage to trust the call of our heart. Now that we can even try to emerge ourselves, that we can emerge ourselves in the vision of any manifestation that we choose of our will, and feel it as if it is already coming true. We are entering into an age which is very similar to what we as humanity experienced, what was called the Golden Age. We are actually beginning to enter an age such as that, which is the age of Aquarius. We are in the throes, or we are on that road. Aquarius is the sign exactly opposite of Leo. So it is one that speaks to the coming together of everyone and everything. And it does encourage us to be brave, to be truth-seeking. And this new moon on December 11th does facilitate us to go on a search for an inspired vision that can bring up times of loss and times of grief, but also it can also lift us up through the strength of those experiences to envision and see what our future path is. So I know I'm getting close to the end of today's show, but what I do want to say is that we have been under a review to determine our beliefs and to decide whether they are helping us or hindering us on our path toward achieving our dreams. So that's a huge thing, is that realization of our beliefs and how powerful they are. I believe that I can move forward, or I don't believe that it's possible for me to move beyond where I am. I'm happy, I'm safe where I am. I'm comfortable here, but this new moon in Sagittarius does encourage us to look beyond. So the next show that I'm going to be doing is in 2 weeks from now, and on that show I'm going to be talking a lot about the full moon that is on Christmas. And that full moon actually occurs at exactly 7:22 a.m. So Christmas Eve is going to be super special this year. So I know I need to wind up or wrap up the show for today. But I could probably say a couple things about this full moon just to give you a little bit of insight into it. And one of the first things I would say is that it does hold a promise that this full moon will bring to light many dreams and visions of just tranquility and blissfulness, and that the security and the peace and the optimism and the beauty of looking deep within ourselves is promised. And there's many gifts. And I know a lot of people will, celebrate Christmas Eve as much as they celebrate Christmas. And I know this is the Gregorian calendar that we're looking at here. However, as a whole, humanity has, in the past decided to celebrate this as the birth of Christ, or a day that we gift each other with things or just words of wisdom, words or tiny little reminders of letting each other know how special they are to us. So one last thing I do want to say about this time that we're in right now as we lead up to that full moon is that it's kind of like a finger that's pointing us in a direction which is encompassing philosophies, and for us to look for ways to transform or transfigure our lives in order to get rid of the things from the past or heal the things from the past, so that we can move toward those new and distant horizons, and that they do come within our reach. So I want to say thank you for watching Turn to the Stars. Thank you for all your continued support. Everybody in the world, I know there's a lot of people in different places watching. So I want to say thank you for your support. And I want to say also turn to the stars and you will find your answers there. Take good care. I'll see you next time.